I'm told that Comrade Reno, the branch president, he would have stayed some extra hours and then all day and until last night and so on. So I'm not too sure that he would be here at this moment. But that for the purposes of allowing for the sisters and they to spend a little more time and then at their own convenience leave to go home in this their first official visit, because I know that this is the first of many to come. We wouldn't want to keep this official part of the solidarity meetings here this afternoon too long. I myself would be running off right after the presentation to another meeting in Port of Spain. You know, let me just say for comrades here that, and remind comrades who don't know, every week, every Tuesday evening around this time, we meet, the leaders of all the trade unions meet to plan and to put things in place to ensure that we deal with all of the problems that are not being dealt with at the bargaining table, the industrial relations problem, the negotiation, and all of the issues that affect workers across the country, which cannot be dealt with at the bargaining table. And therefore, UWTU is in the leadership of bringing all of the unions together to surge forward in a kind of forward justice march to make sure that workers get justice in this country. And of course, deal with all of the other issues that relate to poor governance today. So today, at today's meeting, lots of planning will be going into place for the next activity the union is going to be engaged in, which is the May Day celebration and rally. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that after I ask Comrade Ancil to come and make his presentation on behalf of you, the T&TEC Central workers. So let me, without any further ado, let me call on
Thank you very much, Comrade President General, comrades of the TCL executive, comrades of the TCL workers, comrades of TCL, comrades of T&TEC all. Comrades, we're here this evening to join in solidarity with you to ensure that the strike that you are on right now, this legal strike, is a strike that will bring us, that will come home safely to all the workers of TCL. Comrades, we recognize what's taking place in this country. T&TEC Central leadership having discussion on the issue, recognize that one of the things that is taking place now as we speak is that the government of the day is trying to bring pressure to bear on our President General. And all of us must come together and defend and stand with our and defend him totally. The reason for saying that is that we recognize what's taking place. And what's taking place, comrades, if they bring the pressure to bear on TCL workers, and TCL workers break and go back inside, then you bring an embarrassment to the President General and the oil field workers trade union. And that will never and all of us here must ensure that it will happen. Comrades, just one message I want to leave with the comrades and I'm here before I make the presentation. Comrades, in unity there is strength. In unity there is strength. And once we come out here in a unified manner, and the management seeing that day in, day out when they pass in to go inside, and even the workers, all right now who is cabin, going inside and they recognize that they have unity out here, then they will find themselves here. All right, comrades, they will find themselves here. So what I want comrades to do as from today, every morning, you come out in a good, strong fashion. On evenings, I think it's 3:30 when the shuttle passes, we out here in a strong fashion. Obviously, we will get tired, so we will want to run off and take a little rest and come back. But comrades, the whole thing about it is that we must be in unity and we must be here in numbers in order to show the management that all that they're doing to us, they could never move us.
I hear you, I hear you.
Who will do the answer? Who will take the answer? Yes, comrade. On behalf of the T&TEC Point Lisas branch, we give you this little token of our appreciation, and we are saying that we must never, ever, ever surrender.
All right, let me thank once again Comrade Alves and all of the visiting T&TEC Central Comrades here this afternoon. Significant in a struggle, not just talk solidarity, but real tangible solidarity. Let me thank you on behalf of the TCL Comrades here this afternoon for that demonstration, real demonstration of solidarity. You know, a lot can be said about all of this, and you're right, Comrade Alves, in terms of the attempt. And why that? Why is this attack? It's simply because it's one of the voices, one of the few voices in the wilderness that has a responsibility to stand up and call it as we see it, that we are taking our responsibility serious and that we are calling it as we see it. And even more than that, we are prepared, and I want to say it here this afternoon, because all of this, if you attack me, you attack all of the workers. True. If you attack the workers, you attack me. And there's an Therefore, such is the level of conviction that we feel in the OWTU, that we are prepared to fight all of those who are fighting us here to the bitter end, way past this struggle when workers go back inside. That you try to defeat us here, we will defeat you to the extent that we will interfere with your comfort that you have in the government. You will not be allowed to be comfortable up until the day you will be made to leave the corridors of power. I say so, comrades. I say so with all of the support of all of the workers of not just TCL, but all of the members of the Oilfields Workers Trade Union. And in particular, let me say something about the T&TEC comrades. The T&TEC comrades who hail from Central, South, Tobago, North, and Arima, and so on, and throughout. They were the cutting edge. They were the front of the struggle. And you recall, comrades here would recall, all of these negotiations were taking place, and it was you, the comrades in T&TEC, who first began in earnest the type of aggressive struggle. And that the struggle saw us with all kinds of dimensions, shutting down the question of the motorcade and the big marches and all of that. And that they, recognizing what was happening, they went and they got the Minister of Labour to kind of take the wind out of the sail and call the issue immediately to the Ministry of Labour. And as they did that, they are so wicked and spiteful, they sought not to even listen to the advice that they were getting at that time, which would have resolved the issue. They sought to carry us for the distance. And that distance really took us all over the country, because we were not prepared, recognizing what was happening, recognizing that it is the politics that is interfering with the government, who committed to do differently, but who today doing the opposite. That we had was to take it outside. And then the rest is history. Today, we can look back and recognize that this country was under a state of emergency because of what? The Oilfields Workers Trade Union. Today, we can look back and recognize that when they said that we were supposed to accept 5%, we said absolutely not, that will not happen. If we have to eat salt, if the court approves or instructs that we take 0, we are prepared to do that, but we are not prepared to take their disrespectful and ungrateful 5%. And it is us that stood up. It is us that stood up. So when you put one dimension of this struggle, being T&TEC comrades, who in this round of negotiations were out front, and then the matter having been called to the Minister of Labour and then referred to the court, not having been resolved. And then you had the other dimension coming up to Carnival, where the other strategy was to bring on both the Petrotrin and the NP workers, Petrotrin first, and so on. And then you find when we look at that whole picture, we were able to break the back of that nonsense of the 5%. And that embarrass them. You would know that they continue to say that there was never a cap. These lying, thieving sons and daughters of guns. Yeah, don't forget the daughters, you know, and don't forgive them neither. All of them, they know very well that they put a cap in place, but they say that there was never a cap. Yeah? Well, what we had. So, you know, they from one day to another is another bacchanal, and is another story, and is another lie covered up with another lie. They say that when you tell a lie, it snowballs into an avalanche because it is lie after lie after lie to cover that up. But there's a God. There is an almighty God who knows fairness and who knows no boundary in terms of dispensing fairness to struggling workers who struggle for their just due.
True.
Therefore, to the court we went. To the court we went with the other piece of the struggle, and the rest is history. History on behalf of not just the OWTU comrades, but on behalf of all of the workers throughout T&T. And let me just, in passing again, commend the central workers as when I get the opportunity, commend the T&TEC South and North and Arima and Tobago and all over, commend all the T&TEC workers for, and congratulations for whatever part they play individually and collectively in ensuring that the court ruled the way it did. And so we went to the court, and the court recognized our argument that all who feel that they want to use the court, because they really want to use the court recognized the justice in our argument, and of course no issues resolved to this point, but the battle is not yet over. Now, why I'm saying this to point to, you could have taken that and say, well, look, I struggle already, the issue resolved, we get renegotiation and so on, and to hell with the rest. But that is not the case. And for that, and for coming down here this afternoon, again on behalf of the TCL Comrades, I want to congratulate and thank the T&TEC Central. We know here that the government will tell you we have had many challenges, and we still continue to have a number of challenges with those comrades who, some of them who buckled under the pressure, some of them who had already from very early succumbed to the management's bidding and so on, and who would have gone in. This strike here would have ended for quite a while ago had it not been for those workers, very few, who can't do anything, but who signaled to the management they are prepared to succumb to the biddings of the management. And I want to say that here, this afternoon, they might claim that they're in charge there. We are the workers out here expressing solidarity with the workers in the camp there. Right now, this afternoon, I want to say it for them to hear. Those workers who went in, this is a very significant struggle, brothers and sisters, comrades. We are being monitored not just by the capitalist class who from day to day making their commentary and they're against us because they believe that in 2012, workers must continue to be hewers of wood, drawers of water. We must be modern day slaves. And the T&TEC worker must not ask for more, or the TCL workers must not ask for more. Indeed, they attempted to diffuse the struggle by publishing the salary of the TCL workers, petroleum workers, and so that's a new thing. But that nobody will ask a question if they say that that's their argument that the lowest paid worker is paid that. What are they paying them management? What are they paying them management? Nobody will ask that question. But more importantly, in a situation like this, and of course, T&TEC, not what they're paying them, but what they're paying them for. Because what they're really doing. Because entity after entity, you could hardly count the amount of failures and mismanagement, misdecisions, and so on, which leads to the downward spiral of T&TEC and of course TCL. TCL is in a situation today because of poor decisions and so on. But that has nothing to do with the workers. And so, just as the court said, that once you want to remain in business, there's a cost to remain in business, and recognize our argument that the workers cannot pay for that. We said it before any court